The day you stop waiting to feel motivated is the day your life begins to change. Think about that. Slowly, carefully. Most people are chasing motivation. They watch videos, they listen to speeches, they read quotes. They wait for that feeling, that rush, that surge of energy that says, now I am ready. And when it doesn't come, they wait longer. They delay. They postpone. And the dream sits exactly where it started. Not because it was impossible, but because they were waiting to feel something before they would do anything. Here is a truth that most people are not willing to hear. Motivation is a visitor. It comes when it wants. It leaves when it wants. And it does not ask your permission either way. You cannot schedule it. You cannot force it. You cannot build your life around something that unpredictable. But discipline is different. Discipline is a decision. Discipline shows up when motivation doesn't. Discipline does the work in silence, without applause, without excitement, without a feeling telling it to begin. And that is exactly why discipline builds lives that motivation only dreams about. Jim Rohn understood this, not as a theory, as a formula, a daily formula, simple, repeatable, and available to anyone willing to commit. And today we are going to talk about what that formula looks like, why motivation will always fail you eventually, and how discipline, practiced daily, becomes the foundation of a life you are proud of. Because success is not something that happens to you. Success is something you build, one disciplined day at a time. Now, let me ask you something honest. How many mornings have you woken up and waited to feel ready? Waited to feel energized, waited to feel inspired, and when the feeling didn't arrive, you told yourself, tomorrow I'll start fresh. Tomorrow I'll be more focused. Tomorrow the conditions will be better. But tomorrow came, and the same feeling wasn't there. That is the trap of motivation. It feels real. It feels necessary. It feels like the right starting point, but it is a moving target. And people who spend their lives chasing it never quite catch it long enough to build anything lasting. Jim Rohn said something powerful. He said, motivation gets you going, but discipline keeps you growing. Read that again. Motivation gets you going. Discipline keeps you growing. One starts the engine, the other drives the car. And you cannot reach a destination by starting the engine every morning and never leaving the driveway.
Think about the people you admire, the ones who built something real, something lasting. Do you think they woke up every morning feeling motivated? Do you think they felt inspired every single day? No. They had days of doubt, days of fatigue, days when nothing felt worth it. But they showed up anyway. Not because of how they felt, because of what they decided. That is the difference. Motivation depends on feeling. Discipline depends on decision. And decisions can be made right now. Feelings cannot be manufactured on command. Now, let's talk about the formula. Because Jim Rohn did not leave this as a vague idea. He made it practical. He made it daily. He made it something a person could actually use. The formula begins with this: a few simple disciplines practiced every day. Not 100 changes overnight, not a dramatic reinvention of your entire life. A few simple daily disciplines.
That is it. That is the formula. But here is what makes it powerful, and here is what most people miss. The word every day. Not when you feel like it, not when conditions are perfect, not when motivation shows up and knocks on your door. Every day, without negotiation, without exception. Because here is what happens when you practice discipline daily. You stop needing motivation. You stop waiting for the right feeling. The action becomes the habit. The habit becomes the identity.
and identity becomes unstoppable. Think about a person who wakes up at 5 in the morning for 30 days straight. The first day is hard. The second is harder. By day 10, something shifts. By day 30, they no longer need an alarm to motivate them. Their body expects it. Their mind expects it. It has become who they are. That is the power of daily discipline. It rewires you. It rebuilds you. Not overnight, but over time. And time is the one thing you cannot buy back.
Now, understand something important. Jim Rohn taught that the pain of discipline weighs ounces, but the pain of regret weighs tons. Let that settle. The discomfort of waking up early, of doing the work, of staying focused when you would rather quit, that discomfort is small. It is temporary. It passes every single time. But the weight of a life not built, of a dream not pursued, of a potential not honored, that does not pass. That accumulates. That grows heavier with every year that goes by. Most people choose the lighter discomfort in the moment. They choose comfort now, rest now, avoidance now. And they do not realize they are choosing the heavier burden later. Because that is how it works. You pay a price either way, the price of discipline or the price of regret. And one of those prices is paid with time and effort. The other is paid with your life. So let's be honest. The pain you avoid today becomes the regret you carry tomorrow. Discipline feels hard in the moment, but it is the only thing that produces a life you can look back on and respect. Now let's go deeper, because discipline without direction is just suffering. And Jim Rohn was very clear about this. Discipline must be connected to purpose. Why are you waking up early? Why are you doing the work? Why are you staying consistent when everything in you wants to stop? If you don't have an answer, motivation might carry you for a few days, but discipline without a reason will not hold. You need to know what you are building. You need to feel the weight of your own purpose every morning before your feet touch the floor. Jim Rohn said something that changed the way millions of people think. He said, don't wish it were easier. Wish you were better. Not easier circumstances, not easier challenges, not a more convenient path. A better you, a stronger you, a more disciplined you. Because the goal was never to remove difficulty. The goal was to become someone who could handle it. And that kind of person is not born. That kind of person is built, day by day, decision by decision, discipline by discipline. Think about that version of yourself. The version that does not negotiate with excuses. The version that keeps the promise even when it is uncomfortable. The version that shows up even when no one is watching. That version is not far from you. It is one decision away. And that decision is simply this: I will do what I said I would do. Now let's talk about something real. Something most motivational content will not say to you. Discipline is boring. There. It needed to be said. Discipline is not exciting. It is not dramatic. It does not feel like a breakthrough every morning. Most days, it feels like repetition, like routine, like doing the same things again and again without any visible reward. But that boredom is where champions are built. That repetition is where transformation lives. Because the people waiting for exciting days are never consistent. And consistency is the only thing that compounds. Jim Rohn understood the compound effect of daily habits long before it had a name. He said you cannot change your destination overnight, but you can change your direction overnight. That direction, held consistently, becomes a destination. One disciplined morning does not change your life, but one disciplined morning repeated every day for a year absolutely does. The math is simple. The application is not easy, but it is available. It is available to you right now. Let me ask you something. What has waiting for motivation cost you? The book you were going to write, the business you were going to start, the health you were going to build, the skill you were going to develop. Were you waiting until you felt ready? Until you felt inspired? Until conditions lined up perfectly? And did they? Because here is what I know. They never do. The perfect moment does not exist. The perfect feeling does not arrive on schedule. And successful people stopped waiting for both. They decided instead. And that decision, that single act of deciding before the feeling arrives, is where discipline begins. Jim Rohn's daily formula was not complicated. Read, reflect, plan, work, review, repeat. Every single day, regardless of circumstances, regardless of mood, regardless of whether the world was cooperating or not. Because the formula was not dependent on the world, it was dependent on him. And that is the most important shift you will ever make. Stop depending on the world to cooperate. Start depending on your own discipline to carry you. Now, let's talk about what happens when you stop chasing motivation and start practicing discipline. Because the result is not just productivity, the result is identity. When you do what you said you would do, even when you didn't feel like it, something changes inside you. Your mind begins to trust you. Your self-respect deepens. Your confidence is no longer borrowed from praise or applause. It is built from evidence. Evidence that you can count on yourself. And that changes everything. You stop seeking validation because you already have something more valuable. Self-trust. The quiet knowing that when you commit to something, you will follow through. Not because motivation showed up, because discipline became who you are. That is what Jim Rohn was pointing to. Not a system, not a schedule, an identity, a way of being, a decision about the kind of person you are going to become, and then becoming that person through daily action. Motivation makes you feel like that person for an hour. Discipline makes you become that person over a lifetime. So let's bring it together. Because this is not about perfection. You will miss days. You will fall short. You will have moments where the excuses win. That is not failure. That is human. But what separates the people who build something from the people who only dream about it is not the absence of bad days. It is the speed of return. How quickly do you come back? How fast do you recommit? How soon do you choose discipline again after comfort pulled you away? Strong people are not perfect people. They are consistent people. They return again and again and again. Because they understand something deeply. Every day you practice discipline, you are building someone. Every day you return after falling, you are strengthening someone. And that someone is you. So let's bring it together. Because this is not about perfection. You will miss days. You will fall short. You will have moments where the excuses win. That is not failure. That is human. But what separates the people who build something from the people who only dream about it is not the absence of bad days. It is the speed of return. How quickly do you come back? How fast do you recommit? How soon do you choose discipline again after comfort pulled you away? Strong people are not perfect people. They are consistent people. They return again and again and again because they understand something deeply. Every day you practice discipline, you are building someone. Every day you return after falling, you are strengthening someone. And that someone is you. Not the version of you waiting for motivation. The version of you that has become the motivation. The version that does not need a speech to begin. That version is built in silence, in repetition, in the quiet moments where no one is watching and you do the work anyway. Jim Rohn said, "The major value in life is not what you get. It is what you become." Think about that. Not the money, not the recognition, not the results. What you become. And what you become is built daily, through discipline, through commitment, through the decision to show up even when every part of you wants to sit down. So stop waiting to feel motivated. Start practicing discipline. Start with one promise today. Keep it. Then another. Build the evidence. Build the trust. Build the identity. Because in the end, the life you want is not waiting for the right feeling to arrive. It is waiting for you to decide that discipline is enough. And discipline is always enough. Do the work. Honor the formula. Become someone you are proud of. Not someday, starting today.